We're talking everything from Ted Lasso season 4, episode 1. The band is back together, and honestly, this show has not missed a beat. All that and more, all new episode of Unbinged starting now. Welcome in Unbinged, the podcast of the show's movies and news you love to binge. I'm Alfredo Brown. I've got Jagger May and Sam Holt with me. We're talking everything from the latest episode of Ted Lasso, but first, the spoiler warning.
This is your one and only spoiler warning for everything Ted Lasso, covering season 1, 2, 3, and the brand new season.
Sam, you mentioned our brand new season here. It felt so good to be back in Kansas City, Kansas, Missouri. There's 2 cities in this city. It was just, this show has not missed a beat. And my heart grew 3 sizes watching this. I need your instant reaction to how you felt with Ted Lasso back on our screen.
I felt complete again. Like I knew something's been missing in my life, and I feel like this is it. And the writing is just so good. I think that we're so used to these characters now. And one of my questions, knowing that the new season was coming, knowing how, to me, very perfect the first 3 seasons were, I didn't want them to do this for the sake of it. And listening to the interviews of everyone behind the project, and they said, we weren't going to do it unless we had a good story and like a complete one to tell. And I do feel like the way that the first episode kicked off took me by surprise, and that's why I was pleasantly surprised. And also, like, we're back, baby. Like, this is Ted. It's going to be Ted at his best. There's going to be problems. There's going to be little things where you're questioning where his head is at in different moments, but he's still ultimately himself, and why we fell in love with the show at the beginning. So I could not be more ready.
Yeah, I think my worry was that we were going to come back into this and it wasn't going to feel the same. Anytime you hear a show is rebooting or it's coming back after a long break, you're like, don't do that.
Don't ruin it.
Yeah. Jag, you're back in here watching Ted Lasso season 4. I don't remember. Did you have like trepidations with this? Were you kind of like, we finished well, don't do it again? How did you feel being
always,
back?
Always. I love things that finish, dude. I was just like, what are we doing? And especially for me, Ted Lasso, if you just literally people describe Ted Lasso to me and I'm like, that's not for me. I don't really care to watch that. I watched Ted Lasso after it was already finished. The hype was gone. And I'm like, it is a good show. And it didn't need another 4th season. The writing is so tight that I'm even okay with the parts that annoyed me, like the iPad part. I'm a nerd about writing, and the writing is good to where I'm back in. And I know that is like the most vanilla, boring, stupid ass answer on the planet. I go to cons to go to the writing workshops, not to dress up and meet celebrities. That's what kind of person you're talking to.
If people know us by now, they should know that about you, Jag.
Thank you.
But I like this. We're going to have so many different perspectives watching this show, which is going to be really helpful for us, because I think that's what this show does so well, is it doesn't just stay one beat all the time. It's not always just comedy. It's not always just heartfelt. There's going to be drama. There's going to be sadness. There's going to be times where the writing's going to be fantastic, and other times you're like, I saw that coming from a mile away. And this is going to be a good group for us. We'll probably have cough here sometimes as well for the show. But I actually want to start at the beginning of this episode, because as the opening credits are rolling, you're hearing the beep, beep, and I'm thinking, oh, we're in a hospital. And it's essentially mimicking the sounds of someone on life support. And it really does give us that image of Ted being the assistant manager at a grocery store where he's not really living his life anymore. Like, and it's said by his mom later, if you don't care about your job, why would we? And he's just sort of this empty shell of himself. I don't know if you guys caught this, but even his house, there's no decoration anywhere in that house except for when you go inside the rooms, almost like they're hidden. Like these little parts, like his office where he's got a bunch of stuff shoved in there of AFC Richmond, and then his son's room where it's all just shoved in there, and then everywhere else is just kind of like bleh. He's living this shell of a life that he thinks he's supposed to live.
100% that felt like a shell. As soon as he walked up the stairs, I'm like, there's not going to be a single photo hung up in this house. And it was just your, cookie cutter looking new builds. He just moved his stuff in there, but he didn't personalize it. There's no part of him that you see in this house besides the stuff that's around the desk. And it's like his one little nook. I loved the moment where the mom says, if you don't love it, why would we care? His mom in the first couple seasons, so good. And I loved when we finally met her, and she's just this beautiful mirror of truth to Ted, where she's just very, very herself. And the back and forth that they had with their relationship last chunk of episodes, it's gonna be weird to say, like, it feels like part 1 and now we're in a part 2 because it is so separated, but she's so okay with herself, and she seems to have like healed or gone to a different place where she's being another perfect mom moment of just dropping knowledge right there for him of like, we can tell you don't care, we can tell. And how do you think that it makes us feel?
It's like Ted says, parents are kind of a look into why people are nuts. You know, you can see why they are the way they are.
Yeah.
I hearing you guys talk about the house, I'm really examining myself right now because I didn't see shit wrong with it when they first came.
You're like, that's an average man's house. There's nothing on the walls.
Gabby said the same thing. She's like, oh, that's just how guys live. I'm like, you really think that if I lived on my own, I just wouldn't have anything anywhere? And she was like, oh, okay, you're right. And he's been there for what, like 2 years?
That is
at
a
least
long time.
At least
2 to 3. Yeah.
Because
right
I got to give myself credit. My sister, I make fun of hers because I tell her, I was like, dude, what is wrong with your house? She doesn't have a coffee table, an end table. And I'm like, do I just hold my glass the whole time when I watch it? And this is not
like
what
a
is
peasant.
this? Yeah. I was like, there's not a lamp. She's like, I don't like lamps. I'm like, well, people hate overhead lights. Can you have something that is a welcoming home? So like, I get it, but also I understand that a lot of dudes aren't like that. So I didn't take that. I think I was more off put by the opening scene working in like a Whole Foods because there was just like a lot to unpack there where I had to suspend some disbelief a little bit in there because I got too deep in those trenches. And 2, my thing is like, he doesn't care about this job that he's stealing. I love that Ted understands morality to the fact that stealing from Jeff Bezos, let's just say it was a Whole Foods, completely acceptable. I literally would encourage.
He's not actually stealing.
Yeah, he's not actually stealing.
Jack's like, I wasn't paying attention to that part.
He
wasn't actually. No, okay, so he saw the other cashier stealing cigarettes.
Yes.
And so rather than being like, hey, don't do that, he thought it would be a better lesson to be like, I'm going to steal a ridiculous amount of things, like 12 things on my person, put them in the locker, and then be like, oh no, the manager's calling me. I can't go back to prison. Like this is Ted. He's still trying to be a coach and realizing like this is the only way I could still do it and have an effect on people's life.
Dude, I do.
The
not
actual manager
Ted
was
Lasso.
stealing, though. The actual manager, like when he talked to him, and the manager's like they're eating a candy bar, like that motherfucker's stealing.
Yeah. Okay.
But he was trying to correct the behavior of the other cashier. And so his best way of doing that is to mirror it and also show how ridiculous it is.
Yeah.
And that's how he got him to put the stuff back. And then the manager was like, did I just see you stealing? But she's like, oh, yeah, no. But then he mentioned the other. He's like, but he set me right. It's all going back on the shelves. Don't worry. And then he runs away. And he's just like, I mean, you can steal if you want to eat this Butterfinger. It was so good.
I need you guys, if this is your first time here, I'm not this stupid. Ted Lasso is just the opposite of me in every way. So everything he does is forward and confused. I'm like, okay. I was like, hell yeah, he's stealing. Like I took the wrong lesson.
This is why we have the debrief after, Jack. So you're not like, yeah, get on board with the stealing. It's like, no. There was a life lesson. I'm not okay with
stealing from people, but from corporations, you should.
This is like the one time, Jack, where the show sheet would have saved you because it actually says pretending to steal.
I did.
It's okay. We know you don't read the show sheet.
Like, I'm not looking at that shit.
Embarrassing stuff. I'm sorry.
That's a great way to start.
It's so good.
I think the thing that we see here through Ted at the grocery store, I think we see a good moment there right after where like Henry is getting in trouble for writing Public Enemy lyrics down on a piece of paper, which is just fucking hilarious. Like I knew immediately, and Gabby's like, I don't get it. And I was like, you'll see. Just wait a sec. And you can see where he is succeeding at certain things in life and struggling with other things in life. Like later on at Henry's game, he's struggling with the coach, right? He even says, There's some times where a dad's got to be a dad and a coach has got to be a coach. Like you can't really do those things. And uh, there's just parts of his life, even when he's trying to talk to Michelle and he gets distracted by the kids playing soccer behind her. You could see he's just not being his normal self. He's got these gaps within his persona.
100%. And he's also, I think one of the big issues that he had, obviously, going into the beginning of this entire series was he was dealing with separation from Michelle. And
Mhm.
so he felt like he had to go and give her as much space as possible. And his best way of doing that was to take this job as far away as possible. And then, 3 seasons later, they see him at his best doing so well, and they love seeing him doing so well. And so I'm also kind of glad and interested to see how they address their relationship, because clearly they're co-parenting very, very well.
I
But
don't
also
believe it.
clearly,
Checks like they fight constantly.
I'm sorry, continue. We're gonna unpack this, but like, yeah.
it's okay. We'll work through it. I like that they're showing that, because there's also got to be a new issue that Ted is dealing with, and he's probably thinking, because he says it to his mom. He said, "You're the one that told me I needed to come back home because everyone's missing me." So he felt like he needed to wrap it up, which is also why he made the decision to come back and to leave the team. But he also probably felt like the team was already doing well enough without him that he got them to where they needed to be. And I love that there's a new team that he has to go out there and coach, because I think it's going to be his opportunity to see that he's allowed to want to do things, because the people that love him in his life want to see him succeed and want to see him want to do things and not be somebody else for other people.
That's the big thing with Ted is we almost never see him fill his own cup.
Mm-hmm.
He's always making sure that everyone else is good, and I feel like in this episode we kind of see him come to grips with that like this is going to be maybe a little too strong, but like life is not worth living if you're not actually living it. He was just sort of going through the motions to be, I wouldn't even say the best parent to Henry, just kind of a parent and be present. And I think he got it in his head that at least being present is better than what I was doing before.
Yeah.
So I'm so intrigued to see where this is going to go. We find out at the end of the episode they are going to be moving to London. Obviously, we wouldn't be having a season if he's not taking over as the coach for the AFC Richmond women's team. We got some great stuff that's up and coming here. And one of the things they talked about is having Rebecca, Higgins, and Keeley come to Kansas. And they said it's basically, Jason Sudeikis said this, is like, it's basically if the Scarecrow, Tin Man, and Cowardly Lion came to Kansas and told Dorothy, like, hey, we need you to come back to Oz. They did do that, by the way. The movie was terrible. Do not watch that. However, this seems like it might be better. I'm really excited for this. What did you think of having these characters in Kansas? Because the parallels of the culture shock of having them in the US and doing the how many cities are in this cities instead of how many countries are in this country, and all their little things they did. I absolutely love this.
I'm gonna start. Kansas City, not quite as country as they're making it out. Those accents are fucking thick for Missouri, for that part. But that again, that's not.
He's
the part
from
that doesn't
Kansas
matter.
City.
I know, but like his mom sounds like she's from like Advance, Missouri, and not from Kansas. Like Kansas City is not as country as they're like.
Buckle up,
It's
folks.
like-
We're gonna get a Missouri lesson right here. What is advanced Missouri?
Advance is where it's actually spelled advance. And my point of why I said it like that is like, that's the accent I'm talking about. Is like when you go to deep Missouri, this is where my family's from, step family. That's where that accent is from. When you go to like Cape Girardeau or Kansas City, a lot more Midwestern feel than anything like that. That's just a slight cultural thing that is jarring if you are from the South. With that being said, I love how this goes back to the tight writing, like you're saying, the callback to where Ted was like the fish out of water experience in London, how you would come to the United States. The first place is Kansas City, Missouri. Fucking nuts. That is just absolutely
Right.
nuts. So I'd be like the first, I'm sure they've been to New York and other places that like literally if I took Sam right now to visit Fort Smith, Arkansas or Kansas City, Missouri, for you, it would probably just be as like a bizarre experience. Sam, have you ever been to a Buc-ee's?
I know I've been to a Buc-ee's. I had to drive through the middle. I had to drive through the middle for a cross country trip.
See
with
call
my
it the
how
Middle
she's
East.
talking? That
call
how
it the
she's
Middle
talking? Yeah, that's
I didn't know where to call it. I was like the middle of all the
Country?
shit where all the states run together, and you're like, I think that
You mean the
we're
rest
going
of
into
America that's not California?
Yeah.
You and I live on exact opposite ends. I'm Florida, you're California, and you're just like, I don't know, the middle part, the
Well, because
peanut
if
butter
I'm
and the
traveling, I
jelly.
always go up and down, so it's weird to go across.
And I literally live in the middle of America, like border of Oklahoma and Arkansas. So like hearing these people talk, I'm like, you're proving my point right now. It's like, it's literally a different experience, and it's fun.
Sam's learning why
Ted where
people
he's
voted
at.
the way they did right now.
Yeah.
So confused. No. Well, actually, I think that makes sense the way that you call that out, though, Jag, because when I'm watching this show with my dad, who's from England, and he hears different accents, he can call out different cities of where people are from that are actors, because they're not all actually from the same city they're filming in. So he can tell you who's, from Sheffield, who's from London, who's from Oxford, where he grew up. He can, from Leeds, like he can say
Fancy
like,
nigga.
Can he tell you who's from Tooting?
yes, but
Yes.
stop.
Is that
Sorry.
real?
But knock it off.
Tooting is a real place. One of my favorite
Say
things
it
to
like
talk
that.
about. That is how he says it in what's our guy's name? Nate. He says that in season 3, Tooting.
Whatever. No, I'm just saying regional dialect, the way it changes, I think it's fun to hear from Jag's perspective how this accent doesn't necessarily fit in this two cities situation. I think that's interesting.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's very distinctive if you're in Missouri or the Kansas part. It's like not as confusing as they make it out to be. It's just a little weird. This is how Scott felt, like our manager watching like Cape Fear, where he's just like, "That's not Savannah." This like the whole time I'm like, man, you guys are playing up the country part of Kansas City a lot. It is not those aren't the real trenches, y'all. Ain't
Yeah.
shit.
But is everyone just friendly? Because they keep saying everyone's
Fuck no,
just so
they're
friendly
not
here.
friendly like that, dude.
No.
They act like we're so nice out here. You ever heard Southern passive aggression? It is mean. It is. It sounds in nice inflection, but
Did you hear the
haven't
lady at
got-
the barbecue spot, the way she spoke?
Yeah.
Like she seemed passive aggressive until she saw Ted.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
like the tone changed. Like that's the vibe I get.
That's actually realistic, because like you come in as like, we don't like foreigners around here, and like, Sam, sorry, California, you're a foreigner.
Basically,
My bad.
might as well be Russia.
Exactly.
Really?
And then straighten it up when the person who comes in every day. And what's annoying, well, it made more sense if there was a line behind Ted and they're yapping the whole fucking time and people are waiting. That would have been just authentic, I felt like.
That makes sense. Inside baseball here on Kansas City.
This was great to see our characters walking around Kansas City, and our 2 life-size Barbie dolls going into the boutique, getting outfits. Just see it, like the whole women helping women was a nice foreshadowing, right? An understanding there. And I know like that's going to be the big thing where they talk about the women's club. People are going to be worried that it's taking resources from the men's club, and can it survive on its own? And I think it depends on how you look at it. I don't think any of the foreshadowing bits were heavy-handed. I thought they were played really well. Even Higgins going to the Negro Baseball League Museum and seeing what it was like for anyone else in America to try anything. And then at the end, when he's just like, oh yeah, this reminds me. And that's when he almost does the heavy-handed thing where he's like, this reminds me of women not being able to play in Europe until 1971.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy just kind of looks at him. He's like, this was way worse. Like much, much worse. Much worse.
I actually appreciate that, because like,
Yeah.
sorry, white ladies, I say that some things are the same. They're just like inherently not.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're of course definitely not the same, but I loved that interaction for that perspective, and I love that Higgins wearing the jersey afterwards when they all meet up,
Yes.
and Rebecca's wearing
something
the
like wear
sparkly
support?
blazer. Yeah, like, but the sweetness of him just being like, I want to support, like, and her also wanting to support in her way as well. And I think that Keely already being bought in and just, being herself, only blue skies, only excited about the opportunity for what they have coming forward. And both Rebecca and Higgins they're on board, but they have questions, and both addressing those in very nuanced ways, I really appreciated.
Can we talk about how don't believe that Ted's why. The co-parenting thing, oh, I've seen a lot of great co-parents. I believe that. There's just no way in fuck. It's like, I had a bad day at work. I'm going to move to London with my ex-husband. Like, that's, what are we doing, guys?
We
Come
don't we
on.
don't
That
know
was a
anything
little-
about her right now because she
Yeah.
was dating or engaged.
They're
No,
therapist,
right.
were-
So their therapist, which was totally
which is
fucked.
fucking bonkers.
Totally
That is,
fucked.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're both single.
I think they're both
You
single,
don't
and I
come
think they're
back
working
from
on it.
that, Alfredo. You do not come back from
I'm
that.
fucking aware, but this is also Ted Lasso. Like he's barely human.
Yeah.
There
And
are
he
a
also-
lot of
his
norms
big thing
that they
is
skirt.
forgiveness. Yeah.
I
his
do
big
not
thing is
understand
forgiveness.
that man 100%. So like,
Like
hey,
if we
I'm
could
just-
see the way that he interacted with Nate, and then we can't believe that he can be this forgiving with the mother of his child. And there's also just a lot of context that we don't know. Like we are only seeing this from Ted's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to be fair. I'm trying to be fair to both sides. But yes, that is the one time I will say, Jag, where I'm just like, via text,
yeah,
mom,
it's like,
was just like, let's go to London.
absolutely fucking not.
What's her
man.
job?
It's,
Do we know what her job is?
I don't care. I actually,
Jack's like, she could be a toll booth worker, and it's still, I'm not leaving the U.S.
I know. I don't think we know what her job is, but I do love that, you know, I think that we're going to unpack why Ted is so hesitant to try to talk about the things that he wants with her. I think that's going to be another thing that we start to unpack because he probably felt like he couldn't unpack the things that he really wanted because he, by the end of his time at Richmond, felt like the move was ultimately selfish for him to go and do something for himself.
Oh, this makes me question, why does she want to move?
She
Because the
probably
whole
wants to get closer to him. She can see how much he loved soccer. He wants to see it from his perspective and get bought back in.
maybe, but like I remember like, when we start season 1, we're like, why the hell would Ted leave? He's a national championship winning football coach in the U.S. in college, and he decides to take a coaching job in Europe as a soccer coach. Why the hell would we do that? He do that, and then we find out later as to why it happens. I'm wondering what the story is behind Michelle, and with her moving there and being a series regular, we're probably going to get more of that. And Henry,
Yeah.
you already see it in the trailers, like he's working with May at the pub.
Yeah.
And like he's gonna have a job and like be doing new things, and so having those characters be a little more centric in this, I think, is gonna be very interesting because it's not so much Ted alone; it's gonna be Ted in a family dynamic, which I think it's really important to show. I hate the term broken families, but families that are adjusting to new lives, right? And like
New
working
normal.
on, yeah,
normal,
new
yes.
normals, being separated but together. We don't get a lot of that in like recurring TV. So I'm going to be very intrigued to see how they can handle that relationship.
Yeah, I'm really curious about that as well. And then again, because they would come over and visit and they'd only get, little samplings of what life and,
You get the best parts.
you get just the best parts when you're visiting. You're going to see all of it. So you're going to see the guy that always calls Ted a wanker when he's on his way into the office, and they're going to have that perspective, and maybe they're going to see that interaction. And I'm just excited for them to experience that life, to have the giant block of cereal that they're like, cool, I'm full for 2 days.
The
Like,
giant, not a mini wheat, just a gigantic wheat.
yeah. And do I have those in my house right now? I do.
The
The block
the
of
blockweed?
the
oh, come
block.
I've heard the
Samantha,
legends.
You are so unpatriotic.
I have a British dad. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I keep
have
forgetting. I'm sorry.
like it's not.
He went to Oxford.
Well, does he like import those in? Like what store is he getting that? The giant wheat.
The Oxford
He
store
has
for
to. I
rich
forget where he
people.
orders them from, but when he orders them, they come in boxes of like 10 boxes.
How
And so
many?
he'll be like, I got
how
him.
many, how many servings in a box? I can't imagine it's more than 5.
Okay, they come in sleeves. So the one that I like, because there's a lot of brands of this like block cereal in England. And the brand I like is called Weetabix, which just sounds like wheat blocks, which that's what it is. But they're really good, and they come in
I'm
sleeves.
sure they're good. I
They
just
come in
like
sleeves, like 2 sleeves like this, and then you open the top, and they're stacked, like an Oreo sleeve, and they're just stacked, like nice and even. And then you grab one and put it in your cereal with milk, and I put sugar on top and berries, and it's delicious.
See, I like America because we put the sugar and the chemicals already in it, and we make it
No,
small. So
It's
like,
just the stuff.
yeah, no, we put the cancer right into it.
I want to add my
Pops
own
right out of the
cancer.
bag.
I like to decide how much cancer I want to put on my cereal.
Do you drink nasty ratchet ass Earl Grey bullshit too?
I don't drink Earl Grey.
English breakfast.
I drink English tea, and it's not English breakfast. English breakfast is like an American version of English tea. I will go and get.
Is it worse?
No, it's delicious. I love English tea.
Can we do that? I think we need to do that for one episode. Is let's all have English tea on the
but
show.
I have to tell you how to do it though, so you don't fuck it up. Because Ed's
What do you
letting
mean
it.
fuck it up? It's tea. If it's
Ed-
that complicated, it's not
Tea.
worth
This
it.
is what I'm saying. Like
Jack's
just
like, this is
talking
why you
ab-
guys lost the war.
Yeah, it's like just talking about this is maddening. You're like, you'll fuck up the tea. Is it that gross that you have to have like a special witch's brew? It's like Harry Potter. It's like you can only stir it counterclockwise during a new moon for it to not taste awful. It's just like too many rules with your drink, man.
No, it's normal for all teas. Like even like green tea and different teas, you can't steep them too long. Ted's walking around with a tea bag and a mug for however long, and it's gonna get too strong and it's gonna taste bad.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like you have
It's
to
tea
steep
in
it.
general.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna tell you how I make
Okay.
it my way, and I like it, and then you guys will try it.
We'll
We
let
all
you
know how
guide
the
us.
British are naturally untrustworthy people.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
You guys trust me.
America, we do it really well over here. Everyone in power, 100%.
I trust our business and our government, especially when they work together.
They never lie. Honest Abe, heard of him?
I'm gonna go and get my dual citizenship now.
Guys, I think one of the things, Sam, you talked about it like briefly, that you want to see Ted in London kind of going through this again with his family. You mentioned the guy that calls him a wanker, and which, sorry for our people across the pond or here or whatever. I've been told actually like we shouldn't be saying that into the mic.
Jerk
as
off.
often.
It's just
There you
like
go.
jerk off.
That's all-
Yeah,
It's
Why
not.
can't we
it's
say
not-
wanker?
It's
I
not
don't know,
that
man.
bad. It's
I
not
don't
that
know.
bad. We say a lot worse.
we do.
How about this? Get fucked. Can I say that?
Yeah, there you go.
You just did, and I'm not editing it out.
Exactly.
One of the things that they foreshadow is that the fans over there, who it took Ted so long to finally win them over, are likely going to be upset with him again if he's coaching this women's team, because of the idea that the women's team is taking resources from the men's team. And that was something that was talked about with a previous women's team that basically folded. And that's going to be a big plot point in this season, is resources and the disparity between the two teams.
I mean, that just fits with. I mean, I feel like professional sports here is a little bit different, like in terms of cannibalizing resources. It's much more prevalent, and I'm seeing it from my brother's perspective, who's a coach for women's sports in collegiate level. And there's a lot of colleges that are getting rid of women's sports because they're taking away from the football and the basketball. And you're seeing a lot of
Which is
smaller
nuts.
sports go away, which is very,
Football
very
makes
sad.
so much money.
It makes so much money already. All of those things do. And they also have their own investors and different things. But colleges don't see the return in terms of that payout from that investment the same way. They don't feel that they do. And that's why you're seeing so many of them fold up. I mean, even the college that Ilana Maher went to, they stopped.
Jags back in.
I know that, but I got my buzzword in. They stopped playing or they don't have a women's rugby team anymore. The college that she went to, and so that's been a thing that's been talked
That's
about.
nuts.
It's insane, and she's as big as she is. Why would people want to get rid of that? Why wouldn't people want to go to that school and go and run through that path and try and be that? Women and girls want to have these role models, and I think there's going to be a big push for that in this season to show where the benefits are and why it should stop being ignored or repressed.
It's just such a fun topic because, again, I hate to bring it up, like where I live in the South, the topic of women's sports is a conversation on various levels that I won't dig into that much in here, but it's always the talk that, like, if women want to make money, they should make money. Because I look at the WNBA and how that's ran. Objectively, they've made some very poor decisions, I think, to not make money. On top of that, at the same time, the biggest people complaining have not watched a fucking quarter of basketball,
right?
Which is crazy. So it's like you're not watching, so you don't actually know.
It's the same people complaining about the Odyssey.
That's
that are like, I won't
exactly
watch
Yep.
that, and then
Like,
Yeah.
like
Ta-da.
it's nothing like the original book. I'm like, well, it was a poem, but okay. You know, you know?
First, you're wrong on so many levels. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. But point
Yeah.
being, it's just like I'm ready to have these conversations, and I wonder, there's got to be people that I hope it teaches certain people the right lesson. You know,
Yeah, and I think that I have a lot of hope that they're going to tackle a lot of these issues in the right way, in the thoughtful Ted Lasso way, because I mean, Jason Sudeikis obviously has daughters as well, and he's been a very big proponent of women's sports. He's always sidelined at, women's basketball games. He's always present for big tournaments for women's soccer. He's always been very, very vocal about his support of women's sports as a whole. He's always there. And I love that they feature the Kansas City Current in this and show just how much support teams are getting right now. Because it's true. That's exactly how things are going right now, especially even with the Women's Professional Baseball League that just launched this weekend. And it had a sellout crowd for a very small stadium, but it had completely every seat was sold out. That first game as well was rained out for a delay for hours. Nobody left. Everyone sat there in the stands and they were cheering and very excited for the game. And though it's a small series with just 4 teams for now, you can already see the momentum. Even in women's professional hockey right now, they have these record-setting arenas where they have different games that are going so well. I'm excited to see what a show like Ted Lasso can do to bring that love again for more women's sports.
can I say a questionable take?
Sure.
The problem with women's sports is there's not a bigger push on the sports that don't feel like women's sports. Have you ever heard of women's MMA?
I mean, I'm very familiar with UFC and MMA through the eyes of having watched like Ronda Rousey.
But what he's
fighting.
saying is you typically just hear MMA. You don't hear men's MMA, women's MMA.
That's my point.
Very
It's
true,
the same card. There is zero different product when I'm watching UFC when women are fighting than when men are fighting. It's just a different weight class. So like sports like hockey and rugby, it is the physical nature, I hate to say it, the violence, where you feel like you are not watching a different product. Like women's rugby, I understand that as much as men's rugby, and I feel like I'm watching the same thing. And that is a business thing that I feel like people need to figure out. Whereas like basketball is like great, but like it's why I don't like to watch college basketball than the NBA. I'm like whole lot of dudes putting up jump shots. I'm just, like I literally need the keys jingled a little bit, and that's like the business thing that I think people need to invest in women in. Is like a lot of these physical sports that we watch, even for men that are violent, women are just as capable of doing the same thing to themselves. That is my very hot take on this and on women's sports. So
I think I get where you're going with that too. I mean, if it helps, I'm now just calling men's basketball league.
that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
listen,
wanna
I
divide
think
it.
I think the more
Call it
we
even.
normalize things, the less they feel so out of hand, right? Like
Yes.
there's so
Yeah.
many things that whether it's over a decade or 20 years, 50 years, whatever it is, they stop being new or weird or different, and they just become part of normal everyday life. And listen, this show has done a good job of tackling taboo topics, whether it's in sports or in life. Like even with Ted talking about mental health within sports and the way we treat it,
Mm-hmm.
women's sports in general is going to be something that's going to be
it's gonna
discussed.
be
and
hot.
and we see even too with like there's going to be a character that's balancing being a mother and a
Mhm.
professional athlete, which is something that like we got a little bit of that of Ted trying to balance being a father, but I don't remember any players on the Richmond soccer team having children and having
They're
to
all
deal
young
with
and they're footballers, so they're fucking around, not getting
Yeah.
married. Like
right. And this is going to be such a different dynamic here where you're
Mhm.
talking about someone who actually has responsibility outside of football. And yeah,
And how they address that in terms of, from Rebecca's standpoint, from Keely's standpoint, when a player doesn't show up for practice or if something like that happens with a family situation and it's because, they're the sole caretaker. I'm really curious and excited, honestly, to see how they address it because I also know that, on the women's soccer league, they've also had to make big pushes, not only just for, equal pay, better pay. They've also had to make pushes and things for making sure their contracts are secure. So when they do get pregnant, they're not immediately, let go from the team or immediately traded.
Bye.
Same thing happened with when the when the WNBA had to renegotiate their contracts with their player association. They also had to put something in there because it wasn't already in there that if they get pregnant, that they can't be then traded from the team. So to protect themselves in their contract, how recently that was added is insane. So very similarly too, I was listening to an interview with Allison Fox, legendary track athlete, that the Olympic players didn't have protections or things set up so that when the moms were bringing their kids to these events, to whatever, that they had childcare. They just didn't have that. So they would have to bring all of their stuff like they would going on a trip with their family and have to figure out their own childcare while they're going and competing in their sport. So bringing that to the forefront, I'm really excited to see how they address it too.
You know what I think, Jag, going back to what you were saying too, and then kind of like meshing this with Sam, what you're saying right now about like being a parent and going through any physical changes like that. I think there's also a big difference between a team sport and an individual sport. Like you hear about tennis players all the time. You're like, oh, they're going to take time off because she's pregnant and she'll be back, next year or in 2 years or whatever it is. A team sport becomes so different because it's treated like a corporation. Where they're constantly thinking about rosters where they can, I don't mean this literally, but I mean like trim the fat, like where can we cut budget, get better.
Sometimes literally, let's just actually say it, dude.
Well, I mean, a player gets out of shape for sure. Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to be such a different dynamic that I know obviously not all of it is going to be 100% realistic, right? Like in season 3, when they're like, well, we're projected to finish last. What do? Oh, let's go add the best player in the league. And it's just like, there's certain things where you have to suspend disbelief, but I'm very curious to see what this is like, because I think that this show will play a big part into normalizing women's sports and just making them feel like sports. Right.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a big
That's
thing.
what I was trying to say. You need to make it, what's crazy is that UFC is very considered, dare I say, it's like there's like a conservative connotation that I even struggle with sometimes. Like people like, you watch UFC, and I'm like, it's people fighting. It's actually one of the most progressive sports if you think about it.
Which is nuts.
It is. It actually literally is. They don't care if you're gay, woman, speak English or not. If you could throw hands,
you can catch these hands.
Exactly. It's rated E for everybody. And like if it's a good show, Dana White will make that, women or not, like you're a headlining fight. We need, and that's what, like hockey, start treating it like that. Start showing the brutal nature. Like, you know what put rugby on the map? We saw Alona Mar. I saw her mow down an entire fucking team. I'm like, fuck yeah. Give me hours of that footage. Like they don't understand that. That's why
Jack was like, I need to be alone right now, everybody.
Yeah. Like WNBA, I'm not talking about her politics or anything like that, but like, well, we don't want to encourage Sophie Cunningham pointing. No, you need to make them talk shit, get just as rowdy. I watched Lance Stevenson blowing people's ears in the WNBA or in the NBA and be a fucking asshole. Let women be assholes. Stop holding them up to these weird standards, and that's going to make money. Like that's what they need to do. Start treating them like the men, and I mean the good and bad, where you treat them like wrestling. If they're going to go out there and put on a promo and put on a show, don't fucking punish them for it. Let them hit each other. Let them fucking get rough. Women are just as capable as men are at all the other things physically, and it's a better product.
Think about the NBA, man. Like the NBA it was good, it was big, but really everything took off from a stardom standpoint with Magic and Bird, which was like
soap opera. It was a
talking
soap
shit.
Opera.
Yeah, it was talking shit. It was rivalries. It was media coverage. It became a storyline, and like that's a big thing for sports, is let it be a storyline. Now, I do think we take some of it too far. Now, where like a lot of sports media has become soap operas to the point where nothing feels authentic anymore. Tom Brady slapping Jake Paul is just like, the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, that's ridiculous and dumb. But I do feel like there's a part of, I think you kind of just nailed it. There are some levels and aspects that I think that people are getting used to with the WNBA, because these women are incredible athletes and they are very tenacious and they will, defend themselves, defend their teammates. The way that they're playing it, I think makes sense. I don't think that because it's brought such a big audience from specific players joining the league, I don't think that the audience is ready to see it. And that's why it's getting certain skewed attention rather than seeing it as real, and they are there are fouls. They're hard fouls. These are things that happen, and they're taking it into a different level of drama that I don't think is necessarily serving the
The
sport.
race war is weird, man. It's
Yeah,
fucking
it's
weird.
getting
Yeah.
it's getting really weird, and it's because there's audiences members that are not ready to see certain things, and they're ready to see they're bought in, but they're ready to see their version of what they think it's supposed to be, not what it actually is and what it should be.
I will
That's
never
why
not laugh at the word race wars because of Fast and Furious using that in their first movie.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we're going to the desert for race wars. And it's like, oh, Jesus Christ, what do you mean?
So
Vin Diesel, what are you
what do you
talking
mean by
about?
that? What do you mean by that?
I need you to be more specific. Very
That's why
concerned.
I'm curious about Keely. Like, I feel like Keely, from a business standpoint and as a character standpoint, is the most important person in the building. It's not just Ted making them a winning program. You can be a winning women's program, but you still will lose fucking money because of
You need to
marketing.
matter.
You need to matter. Keely, like, if anything, I want her to be more of a main character. I actually love Roy. Roy's my favorite character, my most relatable character. I want Roy to be a plot device. Does that make sense? Like, I want him to be the background. Here's my
Avenge me.
problem, and Keely to be at the forefront.
Keely was throwing 100 miles per hour in this episode, man. Like every line she had was great. And you could see she was like a golden retriever, the excitement on her face when she got into that stadium and she's seeing everything of what the AFC Richmond Women's Club could be. And we're like, we're going to find out soon. They played their actual games where the AFC Richmond men's team practices. They don't even get to play in the actual stadium. And I mean, I'm sure we'll find out why. This is all stuff that's been like in the interviews and talking about like the challenges that they're going to face. But you could see the dream. Like you could see the dream on Keely's face. And I think that in seasons past, we've had different characters be the heartbeats of different seasons, whether it's been Ted or it's been Nate or it's been Roy. I think Keely actually might be the underrated heartbeat of this season because of how much she wants this thing to thrive and survive. And she's going to be the one pouring into other people's cups while Ted and some of these other people might be doing a little more self-service this season.
I also think we're going to get, because obviously, and Ted nailed it with, I want you to coach this team. He's like, oh, do you want me to, is this a joke? Do you want me to mess this team up? Because originally she hired him because she thought it was going to be a joke and she wanted to tank the men's team. But we also had quite a big level of her heartbeat throughout last section of seasons in terms of her covering, or her arc, I should say, and the way she's grown from what her original goals were to, by the end, what she really wanted to do with running the team and running it well and running it for the fans and running it for the players. So I'm really excited to see, we've got some time that's passed, how that's been going and the success that she has had, because as she puts it, Ted, it's my fucking plane. She can do whatever she wants. She's got all of this, big girl boss money. She can do what she wants with. But I'm curious to see how she handles new challenges, because we had that board meeting where she leveled those men with all their aspirations and walked away from it the one on top. I'm really curious to see how she handles those meetings going forward with pushing a women's team forward.
You know what, you just reminded me, thinking of Rebecca's struggles. I wonder how they're going to deal with the actor who, no, not even that. The actor who played Rupert passed away in real life. So now she's going to be likely having to deal with that in this season. So I think we're going to get a lot of like intentional emotional beats here with her.
Wouldn't be Ted Lasso without it.
Right.
No,
this show, I'm so excited that it's back. Guys, we're going to be back here with you every single week, covering every episode of Ted Lasso. Let us know in the comments what you thought of this first episode, where you agree, where you disagree. And as always, I want to thank you for watching or listening all the way through. For myself, for Jag, for Sam, we'll see you next time. Adios.